Hello guys, it's Nico here and welcome to the 2016 Austrian Grand Prix debrief for Diary of a Mercedes Fan, and what an Austrian Grand Prix it was. The race was so interesting, but to be honest, I'm not really going to get into that. There's only one really place to start, and that is the collision between Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg on the last lap 71. And yeah, obviously Nico got a run out of turn one, which wasn't advantageous, gave the chance for Lewis to come up behind him into turn two. And then Lewis was on the outside, gave Nico some space to try and maybe cut back in if he didn't make the apex and get into free to try and overtake him. Nico went into the side of Lewis, lost his front wing, and then managed to limp back in fourth place. Lewis went on to win the race. Just obviously to update, Nico was sent to the stewards. The driver and team representatives are required to report to the stewards at 16:30 in relation to the incident below. Number 6, Nico Rosberg, alleged causing a collision with by car number 6 with car number 44 in turn 2 at 15:29, an alleged breach of Article 12.11H of the FIA International Sporting Code. So there we have it, slam dunk really. Where to start really with this, because it's again this season that we're talking about Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton colliding with each other. And then I know that there was reports in the media that they had sorted themselves out and they had talked about it and their relationship was as strong as ever. But going into this race, as a Mercedes fan personally, I'm quite very tired of having to witness the cars, colliding with each other. I know that's the result of having strong teammates and fighting, but when it's costing the team points like it is, it's got to the point for me, especially today, where it's just a bit tiring. To be fair, we've had Canada, we've had here, we've had Spa in 2014, we've had Austin in 2015. There's been so many instances where these guys have come together, and more often than not, it's cost the team points. What annoys me today is not getting the 1-2 when the 1-2 was pretty much assured for 3/4 of the race. To not come out of this race with a 1-2 is absolutely gutting, because as a Mercedes fan, I love to see the team finish 1-2, and I have no allegiance to any of the drivers. I followed them both from GP2, and I support them both equally. But as to where this incident, the blame is laid in this incident, well, I don't think there's anything really to blame. On Lewis's side, he gave Nico space, and Nico, I think, well, if Nico has to apportion the blame for this one, clearly looking at it on the onboard, he had a chance to turn. He only used half lock instead of full lock, so I don't think he was intending that much to give Lewis that much space. It's a tough one because I can understand Nico doing what he did because of the times it's happened to him before, getting shoved out by Lewis. I think it's quite easy to be like, well, you're not coming around me this time. But I think he could have afforded to take second place today. Lewis couldn't have. But where this stands is because this could have been another double DNF. So I think from Nico's point, where I'm annoyed is that, it could have been another double DNF. And that if we did not win the championship this year, if we don't win the championship this year, these are the costly points are being thrown away. Costly points are being thrown away. A potential 43 were a guaranteed 25, and a potential 43 were thrown away in Spain. Another 1-2 finish was squandered in Canada, simply by potential 1-2 finish, I should add, because obviously I know Vettel was quick in that race, but I would think that the Mercedes had the pace to kind of stay up there and try and get the 1-2 if possible. But it's for me it's getting a bit tiring now, and I know that Mercedes were talking about imposing team orders, and I for one love to see Nico and Lewis race, but this is so annoying for the people that are at Mercedes and are working hard to deliver results for both cars. And if it comes down to imposing team orders during a race, I know I'm going to sound a bit controversial here, but I have no problem with that. As of now, as of this race, after this race, I have no problem with Mercedes implementing team orders, because I want to see the team get the best result, and if that means that the team orders are used for us to get a 1-2, then, well, fair enough. I think we've let them race now as much as possibly can. Wins, championships will get ruined if this continues this way. Whether it's Nico's fault or Lewis's fault in any race or any collision, it's coming too frequent now, and we are in a tough fight with Ferrari, in a tough fight with Red Bull, and we cannot afford to be dropping points to them each weekend because one reason or another, Nico and Lewis have collided. While it's good for the sport and it's good for Formula One, I understand that, but I'm going to probably be selfish, and from a Mercedes fan point of view, I have no problem at all with the team orders. If they want to impose team orders, if they want to implement them, so that the team gets a strong, safe 1-2 result, I'm perfectly happy with that. The drivers have had their chance to prove that they can race safely, they can get a 1-2, and they've not been able to do that as of yet. So I'm of the opinion that if they cannot race safely, properly, because if that was another double DNF, then that's not good for the team. Regardless of who causes the accident, there's got to be a point where this stops, and even if the team orders are imposed for maybe 1 or 2 or 3 races, just so that we get enough points to kind of be back safe in the championship again, and then they kind of relax the order later in the season, then fair enough. But at this moment in time, when the championship's open and the pressure's on, with both Ferrari and Red Bull down the neck of Mercedes, I think team orders, in my opinion, need to be imposed just a little bit, to say that, if it's looking like someone is going to win or someone's ahead, hold station, bring the 2 cars home, and get the 1-2s, because at the moment we're not getting the 1-2s like we were before, and we're not safe in this championship. Yes, I know that denies the rest of Formula One fans the opportunity to watch a great race, but for the meantime, I think that Formula One, I think for Mercedes in general, and as a Mercedes fan, I want to see the 1-2s back. I want to see the 1-2s back. I want to see the team doing well. I want to see Hamilton and Rosberg on the podium, which is not really happening now. It's just allowing everyone else to fall into place. And I know it's unfair on Lewis and Nico, but if it does mean that the Constructors' Championship can be kind of a little bit more secure, then so be it. If it's for a few races, then so be it. I'm not saying that team orders should be imposed to the end of the season. That's not potentially what I'm saying. I'm saying that if it's just for a few races, then that's perfectly fine, in my opinion. If it was to the end of the championship, then I think that would be a bit unfair. I would love to see those 2 guys race. But for now, I'm happy if that's the case, where they impose team orders for a few races or so. But also, Nico Rosberg is, as I said, is at the stewards. At the moment, as of recording this, there is no... yes. Just got in that Rosberg has been given a 10-second penalty plus 2 penalty points for the last app incident. The Austrian Grand Prix result does not change. So there we go. He's been given a 10-second penalty and 2 penalty points for that incident. So there we go. The results just come in, and that was actually good timing, actually, because it just came up on my phone that was the case. But so there we go. The stewards have decided that accident has warranted a 10th place not 10 place, 10-second penalty and 2 penalty points on Rosberg's license. So, yeah, it's a 1-4 in Austria when it could have been a 1-2. And yeah, Lewis wins. And overall, I think it was a great race until the last lap. I think I didn't like it after the last lap, really. That was quite farcical, in my opinion. But yeah, just a 1-4 mindless incident. And yeah, so we move on to the British Grand Prix. Also, just a little to add as well, in no circumstance did I like the booing of the driver, of Lewis. I think when Vettel was booed, that wasn't nice. When Nico was booed in Spa, that wasn't nice as well. Regardless of what happens, I don't think a driver should be booed so vociferously as he was. And yeah, for Lewis that wasn't nice, but Lewis keeping his head up high, I don't think that'll affect him too much. But yeah, what more is there left to say? Also, just a shout out to the Mercedes-Benz family. Congratulations to Pascal Wehrlein and Manor for 10th place, 1 point. Brilliant result. Pascal Wehrlein's driven well all this weekend. Manor's driven well all this weekend. Bit of a shame for Williams. Massa had to retire. Bottas was just in the low part of the points. I think it was 9th place if I'm correct. Also, shame for 2 Force Indias as well. Started so well with Hulkenberg on the front row, couldn't sustain that. Perez retired, and also Hulkenberg retired as well. So, all in all, it's been a lukewarm day for the Mercedes family in general. Could have been a better race for everyone, but I have to admit the Austrian Grand Prix was brilliant right up until the last lap, in my personal opinion. But there's going to be a lot of fallout, I think, from this race. It'll be interesting to see what Mercedes do, how this goes from here, what's going on. Will Rosberg leave Mercedes at the end of the year? Will the contract negotiations, will this incident have an impact on the contract negotiations for this coming up season in 2017? Well, we do not know. Time will tell. But what is up next is the British Grand Prix in only a week's time. Silverstone, and that's going to be an interesting Grand Prix. Lewis is always strong there, and we're definitely going to have this Rosberg-Hamilton collision story rolling all the way through the week, and everyone's obviously taking their sides. If you're a Nico Rosberg supporter, I guess you're going to support him. If you're a Lewis Hamilton supporter, you're going to support him otherwise. Obviously, there was a little bit of an issue with the strategy in that respect from Lewis Hamilton's side. I know that Nico did not have another set of soft tyres. That's why he had to go on the super soft. And they put Lewis on the soft because obviously that was the best tyre to be on. As you saw with Nico's tyres, they were heavily grained at the end. And with Lewis, there was no problem with his tyres as well. But yeah, keeping it short and sweet for this week. Also, apologies, no Baku Diary of Mercedes fan because I was unwell. But Nico Rosberg won that one, and yeah, we all know about what happened in Austria. So yeah, not the 1-2, 1-4. I guess it's better than a double DNF. But questions again about the Mercedes partnership and Mercedes as a team coming out of Austria, and I think there's got to be now the team has to intervene and do something, because results like this, incidents like this, if they carry on, can cost Mercedes dear in the World Championship. But it's the British Grand Prix, and only really the weekend only starts on Friday, so there's not long to wait until Formula One action is back in the UK. But from me, thank you very much for listening. Lewis Hamilton wins an absolutely thrilling Grand Prix. Nico Rosberg finishes 4th. And yes, the less said about this incident, the better. But a lukewarm day, a bittersweet day for Mercedes, I guess. And onwards to Great Britain.